All right, well, that kind of changes things. We were so close, so close. I was actually in the middle of making this video, and then I saw a post come out that kind of scared me a bit. And it was talking about some of the plan changes that are going on. From the title of this video, you can probably tell that we're talking about Starlink here. When I was making this video, it was all about unboxing, and I'm still going to show that part of the video, but I'm going to kind of talk about what's changed and how it affects us. So, originally, when I got the Starlink, the plan was to use their subscription of, I think it was around 50 to 65 bucks a month, and you could get a roaming plan, and you could go around, fly, and you would get about 100, it was either 50 or 100 gigs of internet, high-speed internet, which is awesome. Very affordable price compared to other solutions out there. So super excited about that. I'm still excited about the capability itself, but overnight, pretty much, Starlink changed things. And so now they added a speed cap. It was originally higher, but now their new speed cap is 100 miles an hour, which is about 87 knots. And you would be paying, I think it's 200 bucks. Let me make sure. Sorry, 250 bucks a month for 20 gigs. Not great. So that drastically cuts the availability for pilots to actually use this. 87 knots, that's takeoff speed for some of these aircraft. And I get it. I understand why they might do that. I mean, aviation is expensive, and pilots have the money to be going out and doing some expensive things, of course, but at the same time, the goal of the industry is to make it more affordable, right? And Starlink really kind of broke boundaries by having such affordable internet at their previous cost. So there's been huge backlash online about it. I'm not happy about it. I know other pilots that I've talked to are not happy about it. And hopefully they'll reverse course. But regardless, it is a very cool technology to have these Starlink satellites or panels, the receivers, with their beamforming technologies and stuff. So I am still going to go through this video and talk about my use case with it. Just know that at the time of recording the video originally, it was on the old subscription price. So you might hear me talk about that a bit. So again, a little bit disappointing news, but I still want to show you what I got, the setup that I've gone through to make my Starlink setup very modular and be able to take it on the road with me. So yeah, let's get to it. All right. So got 2 packages that came in, and I am super excited for this. Now, this is not an unboxing video, but I'm just super excited for some new tech that I can use with aviation. So we're gonna open it up. Another box. Show the camera first before I show myself. That's pretty sweet. Look at that. Here is the actual satellite dish. Look at that. Just like standard paneling. Pretty light, honestly. Now, this video isn't to go over the specs of this or anything like that. Of course, I'll post the specs, the things that stood out to me, but it's more so to talk about the use case of it for aviation, right? I'm all about new technology and then how I can adapt it to my purposes, which is either aviation or photography. In this case, aviation. But again, I also like to travel around. I like to go hike places, go on long drives, and having something like this would be very helpful for that. So again, not an unboxing video. You probably already know what comes inside the box. You got the actual Starlink mini dish right here. I got the cables and then some fixtures of some sort. I haven't really looked at it. Oh, there you go, wall panel. Now, at the time of this video, or at least at the time of when I purchased it, which was January 26th, this panel actually only cost me 200 bucks, which is a lot cheaper than what it was in the past. So it's a lot more accessible for people. All right, so I will go over the setup a little bit later, but let's talk a little bit about the why I got this panel. So the idea behind getting the Starlink Mini is to give me internet while flying in the aircraft. And that's for a few different use cases. One, it can be great for passengers if they want to stream something, then they have that option now. But for me specifically as the pilot, I think it is really cool that it allows me to get more up-to-date weather information. If the ADS-B, or essentially how we get our weather in the plane, goes out, then I have access directly to the internet. So that's pretty awesome. And then also it's very good if I need to communicate with family and friends. For those who have seen my page before, I actually use my Garmin inReach Mini for most of my communication. In fact, let me show you that. All right, this is the Garmin inReach Mini, another satellite communicator. I think you can see a trend here. I like using satellite communications. Yeah, we like our satellites, yes. Also, if you're not familiar with this channel, this is Willow the Cockapoo. So, like I was saying, really great for communications. It allows connectivity while in the air. And this is something that's actually new. Starlink originally, you could only use it if you weren't moving, and it's residential plans like that. But they recently opened it up for a roam plan. So you can actually use this while roaming. I believe I saw online that you can use this up to 360 knots. I don't fly anywhere near that speed. I'm typically cruising around 100, 110 knots, maybe 120. So I should be in the clear. But again, it just is so much more accessible now, which I think is really awesome. And I think it's also going to be a great safety tool for people. We, for better or worse, do depend on the internet quite a bit. As a pilot, you shouldn't have to, but it does increase your awareness. So I think it's a really cool tool to have, and especially for such a affordable price to have high-speed internet via satellite in your aircraft. So again, I'm really excited for something like this. What are the other two items that I got here? Well, that's for making it useful in the aircraft. Standing alone, this package alone would not work in an aircraft, so I got two pieces of gear. Really three, but one I already had. The first is this suction cup mount, so haven't tested it out yet. It's still clearly in the box. But we're gonna go test that out and hopefully it will stick onto the glass pretty well. It got some really good reviews. I'm curious how it will work on some of the curved glass in some of the cockpits that I fly, but we'll see how that goes. And then I also got this adapter. This is a DC to USB-C connector, and this goes up to 100 watts. And so that will allow me to use a power bank to actually power the Starlink. So I don't need to be plugged into the wall. So making this completely mobile, which I think is amazing. All right, and just to help you visualize what's changing and why I bought the new products, let's go over what comes in the box, right? So you open up the box and you get the Starlink panel. That's what we had before. So we'll set that off to the side here. You also get a kind of a base mount. So set that to the side. You also get these cables and an adapter, right? So that's everything that comes in the box. So let's move the box out of the way. All right, let's make it all nice here. So we have the Starlink panel, and then we have the direct current power, right? So this is really just a cable that plugs in directly, and that brings all the power to the actual panel. And then you have this mount. Now, all of this is great for an at-home setup, but we're gonna need it to be a little bit different to work in the aircraft. So let me show you what the new setup is. So the new power cable, this one is actually for USB-C, and this plugs directly into the back of the Starlink. And it has kind of this waterproof attachment right here on the DC portion of the cable. So that's pretty awesome. So that gets rid of that. Now, having this cable is great and all, really cool, but it only works if it's being powered by something. So instead of having this wall plug, we are going to use a power bank, and that's where this comes in. So I can use this mobile power bank. This one is Anchor. You can use other ones. This one you can see is 165 watt. And this will allow me to power this on the go anywhere. So fully all put together, what I'm gonna do is I would come to the back here, I would plug in the DC portion of the cable in here, and again it has that waterproofing piece on it. So we're just going to slide that in, and then we have the USB-C portion here, and this will plug directly into the side here, just like so. And then you can see it's starting to draw power, so now we are actually getting power to the panel. And all I would do is I would take this and I would suction cup it to the back of the airplane, and so that is what the hardware setup is. And then what I like about this Anchor one is I can actually see the power draw, so it's going to be interesting to see what the actual power draw is when we are flying the aircraft. And of course, if you are enjoying the content that you see so far, please leave a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel, helps me bring content to you, and also helps me figure out what content you like to see. So thank you, I appreciate it. All right, let's head to the airport. Let's open her up. All right, so my goal here is to get this put up in a nice spot on that back window. So let's move the seat up. All right, seat is moved up. So now I can fully fit back here. And then actually I might remove this connector a bit. So let's unplug, get this guy out. And we have just this. I'm so excited for this. The cool thing is how mobile this is. Like, I actually tried it in my car on the way over here and it was working, which is really awesome. And then this is actually a rental aircraft. So the setup that I have, you can quite literally bring it anywhere and plug it in and make it work. So yeah, again, this is a rental aircraft. You don't have to have your own airplane to get this to work. Now, actually, the interesting thing here is there is a better direction to place this because you have less of an angle on the bottom side, which is actually this side, versus the top side. So typically you want the top side to be at the top. I believe it has a 110, is that a azimuth one here? But I'm actually gonna kind of place it upside down just because I wanted to run the cable. Actually, you know what? For best connection, let's place it the right way, because the cable is plenty long, so let's do it right. So I'm trying to get to the flattest part on here, and so I'm gonna press in on the suction cup. That one feels good. Let's get this back one. That one feels good. Let's get this back one. That's good. And this window is a little bit curved, so I'm actually impressed that it is working this well. So I've actually got 3 of the suction cups. This 4th one is a little bit looser just because it's at a weird angle here, but it feels like it's in a pretty good spot. Like, that's not really going anywhere, so that's awesome. And then this cable is just gonna run up to the front, and that's how we're gonna get power. So let me make sure I don't forget the clip here. Yeah, the back part does come off, so that's pretty cool. But we are all hooked up back here. Once we get the plane pulled out, that's when I'm gonna hook up the Starlink, so I'm really excited. All right, now I need to get back to the front, and we can pre-flight this aircraft. All right, and avionics switch is on. Transponder is set to standby. Radios are about to be set. Real quick, we're here on the ground already, so I want to do a little check of my Starlink. So, obviously the live stream that I have up right now is actually on the Starlink, not my mobile data. Let's run statistics real quick and do a little speed test. So, on the ground, in the airplane, let's see how we are doing. All right, so we are getting 58 megabits down and about 15 megabits up. So not bad. I'm excited to see what it's like once we are in the air. So that is my check. In terms of power draw, we are getting about 20 watts out to the Starlink right now, so that's pretty cool. All right.
Skyhawk 53588, make right traffic, runway 9 right, and extend downwind. I'll call traffic to follow.
Make right traffic for 9 right. You will call my traffic to follow, extending downwind, 588. So the power draw is still at about 20 watts of power. So this thing, it's really not taking that much, but yeah, we've got Starlink working in this aircraft, and this isn't my own aircraft. I actually have a setup that is perfect for well, rental aircraft. I can use it in my car. It's a completely mobile setup.
Make right traffic, runway 9 right.
Right close traffic, runway 9 right, okay, 37.
And so the setup, it's all the way back there with the suction cup, and then I have this cable that allows me to power it, and I can see the actual power on here. So right now we're actually 25 watts, and we're just chilling here. And then as we were flying around, we were getting some good data, so that is really awesome. So very excited about that.
Sierra, attack.
So overall, really impressed with how the Starlink performed, especially while flying. I was getting some good data. I'm sure I can get even better over time, but really impressed with it. And the connection to the stream has been really good. And then the connection to the phone, I was getting actually aviation data on my iPad from it. So really impressive overall. So I'm super excited to be able to have such a modular Starlink system. Everything is, again, I can move it to my car and still get connection. This is a rental aircraft, so it's not something that
downwind, I'll call traffic to follow.
Not something that I hardwired into the aircraft. So really excited about that. All right, so not to make this video excessively long, but I wanted to debrief after the flight and talk about my thoughts. Again, I had an original debrief, but I wanted to go over it again now that the new subscription is out there. One, I actually did get a carrying case for the Starlink and everything. It's a really powerful tool, right? One, I can just grab it out of this box and let me see. I have the Starlink in there. You lift this up and you have all the compartments. So I have the suction cups, I have my little anchor or portable charger, and then it also has this really nice cable that comes to the outside, so you don't even have to take it out of the box. Again, with the Starlink, it's using beamforming technology, which is really awesome. So there's no moving parts on it. So there's so much that we can talk about with beamforming. Maybe I'll make a separate video on that. But one, the technology is really awesome. Two, it's very portable. You can pretty much take this anywhere. It can charge everything inside the case. I could have this hooked up and just providing me internet, and it's still in this solid carrying case, which is awesome. You did see how it was on in flight, and it was really awesome to be able to see that. I was actually live streaming to my TikTok and Instagram while flying, and I had my mobile data completely cut off, and I was just using the Starlink. And so you saw what those data speeds were, and it was a very stable connection, which is also really important. It didn't feel like there was much latency there. They do have a measurement on their Starlink app for that, so really awesome technology. Will I be using this in the future? I think I will be, absolutely. I'm hoping that the plans change. Flying at 87 knots is not very fast, so I really do hope that they change it and listen to some of the feedback from their users, which are these GA pilots or General Aviation pilots. So that's pretty awesome. Again, I'm also going to use this on the road. If I'm going on a driving trip somewhere and I want to have internet, again, this is a really awesome device to have. So not just for aviation, but in general, I think it's really awesome technology. And I hope that it stays as accessible as it is for people. So overall, my thoughts, I still would recommend getting a Starlink. Even if you are not a pilot, it is a very helpful tool to have for our pilots out there. Just be aware of the price changes, understand that it can change at any moment, right? You kind of are at the beck and call of Starlink, and those plans will change out of nowhere sometimes. So that's just kind of the name of the game that we have to play. So in general, I do really recommend this device. I'm very happy with it. I'm very excited to have it in such a portable format as well. So that's what I have for you today. Let me know your thoughts. Would you recommend getting a Starlink? Do you have one? What subscription are you using? What are your use cases? I would love to hear from you and love to hear your thoughts on the plan changes or anything like that. So again, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the sky.